All right, we're to the backstop now. This is the part that's actually going to keep the dust closer to the trailer is what we'll say. We've got 4x5, got 20 holes to bore in this piece. This will be the bottom. This is what will bolt to what I built last time. And I'll get my cuts going on and stuff, get all this drilling, and then we'll get around to seeing what happens with all of it. It's a backstop. It's 12 wide and 9 tall. And we got to have a hole in this location. I went over and confirmed all that as to where the chute's going through. All right, drill holes. All right, 19 more times of that. I'm collecting these. If you're not aware, I've always been told, and I believe it's so, nut trees benefit from iron around the base. Now they can get iron from different ways, but all this is just, that's perfect because that's gonna, as fine as that is, that'll work its way into the soil quickly. So I will probably just scratch me a spot around my tree just so that I can hide that in and bury it. All right, on with the drilling. Put all our debris in the box. We got like 17 more of these to do. I'm pretty sure you've seen enough drilling. And I want to listen to radio. Alright, that's 20 holes. That's the bottom plate. This bolts to what's already there. And then everything welds to the top of it. And that allowed me the opportunity to do this in this two-stage setup by just going over and mocking out what this is going to look like. I know that this should fit with minor modifications, and the backstop is a given. Alrighty, move on. Okay, now we're ready to cut a few pieces. I have this saw, you see, but unfortunately, it's kind of archaic in the way you have to set it. You have to loosen 2 Allens back here. I love the saw, don't get me wrong. But this method is not premium. There we go. All right. Back that up where I can get my square in there and confirm it is in fact on the 45. I've only got 2 cuts to make this way. I gotta go through all this trouble. Okay, let me put it in here this way. Will it? Not quite. Yeah, it'll work. Alright. Put our blade down. I didn't want to be in the shadow of it here. Now I've got one more problem. I've got to move it all forward because I saw that the blade's not actually going to go through the material in the back. So there's another problem. It'd be nice if they had one worked on the basis of a miter saw that would cut as well as one of these. And yeah, in fact, this is a miter. But this is a lot more trouble to go through than to just turn it and start cutting. Right, now when I put the blade down, it will in fact go through every bit of it. It says it's on 45. I don't even know if I can do this again. I'll have to use that middle section there. It looks like it needs to come back just a smidge. If I had to see anything was right, it'd be that right there. All right, we'll set up to cut the miter I want, just 2. I always just leave that right there. It usually doesn't get in the way of anything. All right, when I get finished, then I can set it up on this because everything else is square cuts. I've just got to get those 2 cut miter. All right, we're set up to cut. That's roughly where if I miss it, I'll just dock the other end with a square cut. That means I've got to set the saw up. I do this all the time woodworking. No matter what this angle is, it's the same on this piece as this piece if you make it in one strike. If you back up and hit it 2 or 3 times and sneak up on the line, that's no longer true. We're going to make this in one cut. I don't care if it's off a little bit. It's what it's going to be at that point. Whatever this one is, I'll make the other one the exact same length. But I question the sanity of people who will cut this angle a dozen times on a board or a piece of steel that's long enough to get it twice. This is 20 foot long and that's a 9 foot stick. I've only got to make this miter cut one time. That's both sides. I also had to cut a top, so I'll cut it in just a moment. But I'm saying I'm getting both legs out of this one miter cut. I don't have to do it twice. Now we're going to cut it. That's both legs, one of each side. Now all I got to do is cut a 12 footer with a miter on each end, and that's how they're going to meet. That's just each leg and the top. Everything else from here on out is square cut. I've now set up, clamp, cut the miter on the end of the 12, which will be the top rail. like to be frugal with my parts. This stuff's expensive. That's more waste than I wanted. I'll turn it around. We'll cut the other man. Set up on that final miter cut. That's it. Then set the saw back up on square, and then put it on stand, cut the rest of it. Alright, I've got two sides, the top and the bottom. I'm going to lay them out on the floor, screw them up, tack them, get everything square. Then I'm going to cut what we'll call studs. Got to dress all my ends. That's a burr from whenever they cut it. Of course, I got to knock a little off the end of them points, or they won't. It'll just burn up and it won't work. That's that much. Slight little bit of bend in there. Might need to get that out. Let's look on this side. Yeah, it's a slight. I don't think it'll be enough to hurt it. With those bolts, we'll suck it down. All right, that's everything I can weld from this side that's necessary at the moment. I've still got to put one crossbar across. That's just going to stiffen it. It's going to be here to 6 foot from the bottom up, because the pipe's got to go through right above it. But it's coming along well. This is far easier than than the backstop to stop the trailer was. That's 90% of it. I still like the back side of each of those and the corner. Everything else fully welded. I can't think of much else I need there. Oh, I'm gonna have a little gusset, have a little kicker stick off here, because we're gonna put some diagonal braces down to the ground, but it's gonna be a bolt together situation. I don't want to be welding around that sawdust. So that's the only thing I like. And I've got the material out there and some pieces to make my little plates out of. Like I said, I want that to be a bolt-in situation. That way when we get there, just put some bolts in. Stand this up, put all those 20 bolts in the bottom, put 1, 2, 3, 4 more in. That'll hold it. It's not going to have... The reason the bottom piece was built so overkill was so they'll never really touch this besides just the foam pad that's going to be on there. Alright, I got to weld the top out. I always tell my guys when they're setting up a standing ladder, what's that? It's a ladder, not a bridge. Except in this circumstance. I'm going to use it like a bridge. If you see anything you disagree with based on safety or OSHA regulations, by all means, don't do it. Because this is a private situation here. I don't have OSHA regulations here. If I get hurt, I get hurt. I take chances. Well, out of the way. Now we're like a couple of tabs, what to hook that to. When we get it on site, I got to form them up, make them, bore some holes in them and what have you. But she's everything there besides putting sheet metal on it. Looking good. I'm rather satisfied with the progress. Alright. I'm thinking, you can tell something the shape, none of this, disregard that. The shape switch is that, one tab on each side. And this will be a bolt location for my gusset that goes back to the ground, just to ensure that it doesn't wiggle in the wind. Or they'll have foam over there, even if they push against it with the trailer, they'll have just a little bit of support. It's only going to be an inch and a half by inch and a half with the tab to match this. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but strong enough to do what needs to be done. I'm going to cut that out, and we'll be right back. I'll show you. How about a little small light? What we're talking about. Like I said, there's some disregarding, but that right there will be my hole. That little edge. I need to make 2 of these and then some complementary pieces. I've got a plasma shield. I didn't realize going in just how terrible plasma was for your vision. It's near as bad as welding. And I did some cutting without any eye protection. I don't suggest you ever do that. Well, that's it, but for cleanup and paint. And I think we'll set it, and then I'll get some measurements from my little outriggers, you might call it, or diagonal braces. This is it, fully installed. It's achieving its goal. It's keeping the engine, motor clean. Gusset, angle braces. Those I just tapped and drilled and tapped for both. They said they might do foam over the whole thing. They only leave that little pillar thing on there. That was my project. I hate it didn't get us putting it in. wanted to do a follow-up of what it looked like complete. That takes that, turns it into that. I think that's a 100 horsepower machine. Thank you much.